So let's talk about connecting letters. There's two things we want to look out for. The first thing is high connection points. So if we take a word, so we've got this word, and we ended all of our letters at the waistline. So that gives us high connection points. Let me show you one more example. If we don't use that, if we just decide we're just going to end down here wherever we feel like it, then you can see the difference. First, this one is easier to read, which is our whole goal with lettering. Second, using high connection points and connecting up here creates these little pockets of negative space, and that's what makes it easier to read. Where here we don't have any of that negative space, and it makes it harder to read. So anytime you're doing a letter, you want to make sure that you're ending it up here at the waistline so that it's ready to connect to the next letter. The only exception for that would be if your next letter is the letter E, because as we know, E starts at the waistline. So we could stop here so then we could go into our E. And it still creates that pocket and enough space, but if we go all the way up, sometimes it can go above the E. So that's a little bit about high connection points. The other thing that you want to consider is just your space between letters. So for example, if we were to write the word new, the space between these letters from the N to the E and the E to the W is called kerning. And we just want to have consistent kerning in our lettering. So this would be like a regular spacing. We could try something. It's harder to do a tight kerning with a large brush pen because it's such a big pen, but you can see the space between is very small. We could do something really wide. Like this, and have really wide kerning. None of these are right and wrong. My recommendation is that you kind of choose one with the word that you're working with or the composition and kind of stick to it instead of going regular to tight to wide to tight to regular and bouncing around. Just choose one and stick with it with your lettering composition or with your word or your phrase.